there, for those of you who are seeing and hearing about us for the very first time, would like to answer perhaps a few questions you might have. Who is Awake Mzansi? Why do we exist? And what is the purpose of our podcast show? So back in 2016, when the organization was founded, two things were perhaps at the forefront, which is how do we get South Africans to be aware of their voting as well as why voting is important. Secondly, was to bring about information, not myth, truths in and around the different organizations and parties that advocate for you and I on a daily basis, from a financial, social, economic, and every other area that impacts South Africa as a whole. One of the key challenges we're having, and perhaps what many countries also face, is are we getting the right information? And do we get to know what is it exactly that happens in and around our country? More so when we look at the numbers and perhaps some of the research and data that the team has been able to do, was looking at the number of young people that have not shown interest and participation into voting. I think we all know as a country historically what this means for us in our democracy. We are now approaching nearly 30 years since the very first democratic elections that were held in the country. Awake Mzansi then comes through as a political action group where we are looking at providing you with information in and around the politics, some of the headlines you've had, some of the topics, and perhaps some of the rumors and perhaps things that are not so true, to allow you to get the right information and the awareness in terms of these are currently the issues that are affecting you and I. One of our core founding statements as well has been to, by all means, to get young people to participate in voting by also providing them an opportunity to voice their opinions. There's so many decisions that are taken, policy changes that happen, new things that are introduced and perhaps implemented that you and I are not aware of, that you and I probably only find out at a later stage. We would like to be a bridging gap between that which is discussed in what I can call the higher boardrooms into things that you and I can now also discuss through a tweet, through a comment, through a like, through a subscription. Why? Because each of us right now have unlimited amount of knowledge as well as access to information. But the question is, how do you ensure that that which you learn and hear about is at the very least true and all about? I'm one person as well who was perhaps at times under the impression, hey, what is actually the point of me voting if I'm not seeing any difference? Why is it perhaps that I need to be aware of who to even vote for if the very changes that we're crying about and perhaps our needs are often not met? And this was until I rejoined the team and started to understand some of the pressing issues which we would like to bring towards you as well, with the many changes that have come through and what we've seen perhaps with the elections that were held this year alone. Some of our key achievements as well has been to achieve the highest number in terms of the voter campaigns that we've done and other successful campaigns which are all focused on helping you, the voter. Why? Because you've got the power and you've got the voice. But the question is, how are we using that to allow information and perhaps certain truth as well to come out? And this is why this very platform exists, that we are looking at some of the pressing issues that are currently taking place now, as well as perhaps some of the issues which have recently taken place, but we never get the time to digest and actually take a deep dive. And that's exactly what the team and I will try and provide you on a weekly basis through forms of YouTube series as well as a few TikToks as well, just so you can get this information. And most importantly, this is about you as well as your voice. I think to our greater community that has journeyed with us since way back in 2016, they'll be very familiar with the content we provide as well as what we stand for. One thing for sure and that you can be guaranteed is that, yes, we have our biases. Yes, there's things that we ourselves may not fully know to a great extent, but at the very least, we will try to get to the nuts in terms of what led to certain events to transpire, more so because all these events are affecting you and I. Awake Mzansi stands and firmly around this notion as well as this belief that the change we are seeking and the change that you and I will see, firstly, we need to get young people to participate in terms of what's happening in and around our political and socio-economic issues. Secondly, we need to use the very voice that we have, which is following those lines, as long as they may be at times, to vote and select organization and perhaps parties that we strongly feel represent us. We stand by that to say we will provide you the truth, and maybe at times it might be information you may not be aware of, and you might not be willing to say, is that really true? Because ours is not a game of this is right, this is wrong, or we stand with this or we stand with that. Ours is to provide you with truth, is to provide you with facts, and at the very least to empower you, because your decisions are what influences and sometimes changes the scope of this very country. And that is exactly what we hope these conversations and these dialogues will open up. So please do indeed subscribe to our YouTube channel. Check us out, or follow rather, as well as on TikTok. And we know that our Facebook family will be backing us up, and we would like to invite you as well to say, hey, friend, are you interested in politics? Maybe not. But would you be interested to a political podcast that is intended to help you provide fast and accurate information, one that is perhaps a bit more detailed and tailored towards what you may need to know? That is exactly what we hope to provide you. And at the very least, myself and the team, I'm excited to see what you and I will be able to engage on from a frequent basis, as well as everything that we will provide. So do subscribe, do like, and just to more work to be done. Speak to you soon.